The series, Debating the Documents, is a wonderful way to get your students involved in analyzing both visual and textual primary sources. Because we do have visual primary sources, we've included it in the image analysis category, and all the Debating the Documents units, there are 51 in U.S. history, have the duration of 100 minutes. So if we look at this one, Arrival, Immigrant in the City, we'll see the teacher's guide gives an overview and implementation procedures. But let's go look at the student perspective. There's suggestions for the student in terms of how to analyze the primary sources. Now we know that for analyzing primary sources, it's important to give students background knowledge and give them a context for understanding what they're looking at. This includes an introductory essay, which is usually less than 750 words, as well as a timeline to help the students situate visual sources that they're about to look at. They can then click here on the visual primary sources. There's background information here. If they go in, they can actually take a look at these sources. The questions to help scaffold them through their analysis are down below here. Main ideas, background information, and then they're also able to turn on the magnifying glass and look in greater detail, or even analyze it quadrant by quadrant, as they would with some of the other visual analysis activities. So there's a number of different visual primary sources. At some point, the students need to answer the question which compares the documents, and in this case, they're asked to decide, would documents 1 and 2 be better for a historian trying to describe that period, or documents 3 and 4? They make their selection and submit it for review, and then go to the comparison essay to explain, I chose documents 1 and 2, and they explain why, and I did not choose documents 3 and 4, and they explain why. Once again, there's not clear answers here. It's more the students finding a rationale for the answer that they want. There's also written primary sources to help the students focus in. And while the written primary sources are often several paragraphs, you can go to the close reading activity, which is usually just 1 or 2 sentences excerpted from the larger text and then has a few key questions to help the students follow up. When the students have completed their analysis of both the written and the visual primary sources, they conclude by going to the document-based question at the end. In this case, despite a sometimes unfriendly welcome, immigrants to the late 1800s were lucky to have America's cities as a new home. Do you agree or disagree? And then there's a checklist to help the students complete a successful document-based response. They can then post it in this area or save it and separately upload it to be assessed at a later time. Debating the documents, it's a great way to get your students engaged with visual and textual primary sources and to give them the context and the background in order to help them be successful analysts of these periods from the past.